All right, everybody. We are here, all four of us. Benny's back. Jem is here.
I'm like Shady. Shady's
And-
back.
And Matt, of course. We're going to get into Hawkeye, the season finale. Before we do, let's go around the room. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm ready for this holiday season. I'm ready to get it started and get it over with because just as fast as it comes, it's gone. But this is going to be interesting because this is probably the first time we did any of these shows that we actually didn't talk for like 5 minutes about the show before we started. So
we had other stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we had some other stuff to talk about, but I like where it's going to go. The mystery of it. Let's go.
Yes, everybody's shooting from the hip. We have no idea what anyone thinks. Benny, how are you? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Did you see the Kang cameo? No, right? Because he's not in the MCU yet.
It was a Mortis. It was a Mortis.
Jem?
I'm good, man. Good. Working on a video. I just did 2 statue unboxings, man. The new Wolverine from Sideshow, the new Batman Who Laughs. So busy, man. Busy.
All right, and I hope everybody's ready for Christmas. The elves are hard at work. Santa's got a lot to do tomorrow. Busy day. So let's just start right off the top here. We
Spoilers.
open and we what?
No, full spoilers for anybody that doesn't know.
Full spoilers.
Honest question: would anybody really come to the finale review and be like, "There's no way they're going to spoil it"?
Yes, they actually would.
I gotta do my-
Well, hold on, wait a minute. On Sunday, I did a live stream, No Way Home spoilers, and like 15 minutes in, someone was like, "Oh shit, this is spoilers!" Like the title was like spoiler.
It was in the thumbnail.
So,
Well, I'm just gonna say,
And it
if
was
you're
in the
going to
thumbnail.
something, if you're going to a review for a movie or a show and you
Right.
don't expect spoilers, that's on you and you're dumb. I'm just gonna put it out there. Is it gonna it's gonna be a 5-minute live stream of us going, "No spoilers, was great though, cool."
All right,
Yeah.
see everyone next year.
what do you
Later.
say? Especially when it's something like No Way Home. Like you can't. How do you even review that without spoilers?
Oh God.
I did it
know.
in a
Not
TikTok.
easy.
It was 45 seconds long, and all I said was, "It's amazing. Go see my full review over here."
Yeah, there you go.
So
all
what
you
I
can
usually say with this is, guys, if you really enjoyed it or if you didn't enjoy it at all, hopefully you like it a little bit more after we all talk about it, because we're going to get deep into it. And of course, we're going to talk about the future of the MCU. So we open up, and who is there? Lo and behold, Kingpin, Mr. Fisk himself, and he's meeting with Kate's mom.
So hold on.
5 minutes
hold
into
on.
this episode. What?
In the last time we talked, with the last on episode 5 breakdown, we were like speculating how much of Kingpin are we going to see, and I think I was saying we might hear his name and see him in a post credit. But when it opened up and he was there right away, I was like, okay, I guess boom, there we are.
We got more Kingpin than I thought we were going to get just in the first 5 minutes of the episode. I was with all you guys. Benny, you weren't here last week. I don't know how you were feeling about it, but none of us really thought, right, Matt? You didn't either thought we were getting a lot of Kingpin.
I thought it would be minor. You know, I thought we would see him, but not much, like towards the end or end credit. I didn't think he was going to be all that, but
I thought it was going to be. I did think we were going to see quite a bit of him because I had a running theory going on, and if this isn't a bullshit one, I had a real one. Running theory, well, based on, without spoiling No Way Home, stuff that happens within that and all the rumors, my theory was there's no way Kevin Feige is going to, if those rumors were true, was going to let Spider-Man and Sony reveal things. There's no way. So that's why Kingpin showed up where he was, and I feel like that's why he was going to get a huge chunk in this episode. Now, I didn't think he was actually going to be fighting the Hawkeyes. I thought we'd get something like we did in the intro, but towards the back half, where we saw how he was involved. But that's what I expected. What we got, I was crazy happy with, super impressed. I thought they did a great job.
Much more than I anticipated. I was like with Jem and Matt, I did think we were only going to get a little bit of him. But again, 5 minutes into the episode, 5 minutes, we got more Kingpin than I thought we were getting.
Hold on. And Gary, but towards the end, I think we got a lot more than what we bargained for when it came to Kingpin. I guess we'll get to that. But I mean, I'm talking about what happens at the end.
Yeah. Way more. So Eleanor, Kate's mom, meets with Kingpin, and she basically quits and explains, hey, look, I handled Armand. I let Jack take the fall for Sloan, but I'm out. Kate's getting too close. I'm out of the business. And we all know that is not how you leave the mob, let alone Kingpin. And he basically laid it out for, don't do this. You're not doing it. You're not going anywhere. And then we get, the threats. This starts to
the
really
Kingpinism. I'm a little disappointed we didn't get a head in the door, but I mean, I'll take just threats.
Matt, were you going to say something?
No, I was going to say, she didn't seem too nervous. I thought she was just like, you know what? I really don't care anymore. Like, she's just like, I'm done. I'm out. She talked about the husband's debt. I think, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but what I talked about last week is I was actually hoping they left some stuff open-ended because there was so much to tie up. There was never going to be the chance to do that all. And as we go further on, I think that they left so many things that could either go one way or another. And I think that was a good plan for if they do a season 2, which it seems like they're going to. So, it was a cool opening scene. That was for sure.
I want to say something about Eleanor. She isn't as bad as I thought she was, right? She kind of got left in a tough situation. Her husband really had her messed up in the game. And then she was just trying to, cover up. A lie covers another lie and grows and grows. But she wasn't like maliciously. She didn't maliciously kill her husband, right? And that's kind of what it seemed like a little bit. And when Kate, confronts her with the video, it's kind of like you feel why she did what she did.
Yeah, she did it out of necessity. It seemed like,
right,
instead of aggressive. She wasn't trying to go get rich. She was trying to fix the mistakes that her husband made. It seemed like, and the only way she could do it was going through Kingpin.
I'm sure there was other ways, but
there might have been other ways. I mean, there's Patreon these days and all that.
It just wasn't malicious.
Yeah,
the intent wasn't malicious. She just did what she had to do.
Yeah, exactly. She did what she had to do to survive, and unfortunately, it was making a deal with the devil, which is funny because Mephisto did cameo in this as well.
Yeah.
So
red shirt, the red shirt later on, he's on.
Yeah, somebody had that red shirt. Well, Kingpin had a red shirt on, so obviously
he had the red Hawaiian shirt under the white blazer.
That's it.
Yeah. So Kate has the entire interaction between them from Yelena, which I thought was pretty interesting. How did Yelena even get in there? But whatever. There's a few moments in this episode which I thought was
a Black Widow, bro.
Yelena is my only nitpick, and I loved this episode, every moment of it. But just the whole inclusion of Yelena here just doesn't add up unless you add your own headcanon to it. Like, the biggest problem that I had was she didn't go looking for Clint Barton after getting this information. And over on my channel, we got a whole bunch of people in the comments that are like, no, that scene happens between episodes 3 and 4. And I'm like, who said that? Where is that? I've never seen that. The fact of the matter is, no one knows the timeline. And it could have been a day. It could have been 2 years. We don't know.
But it's the only thing that makes sense, though, right? Is that,
I mean, does it?
Eleanor hires someone, and then clearly Contessa must be, kind of like she's the broker, and she's like, hey, I got an assignment for you, but also this is who killed your sister.
Well, it does make sense, but it's still only headcanon at this point. That's the problem.
100%.
Because they haven't said anything about it. It's just, it makes sense because why would she wait? But then again, we could also say, but it's been 2 years since Black Widow. We don't like the ending. We don't technically know. The whole inclusion of Yelena was my only big nitpick, and I loved her role, and I thought she was hilarious, and I thought she did better here than in Black Widow.
Hell yeah!
It's just you had to do a suspension of belief to really put her there. Because you have to, in your head, go, it happened between these episodes, or she's here because of this. You needed to give your own reasoning behind it.
It would have been nice to have Contessa.
Yeah,
right. Just if she just 2 seconds, hey, I brought you someone, and that's it. There's the connection.
I was gonna say the reason for that, Benny. It's so funny they brought that up. I was gonna bring it up later. Is that apparently the majority of the writers didn't know Yelena was going to be in the series until the very end, which is why it feels so disconnected from the rest of the story.
Okay.
And it actually makes sense. After I read that, I was like, that makes a lot more sense because
almost squeezed her in.
Role is completely separate from everything else. Like, that's its own storyline within a small, short series.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't feel right?
It's my only nitpick because it does it. You could remove her and almost nothing would change about the show.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I think the ending with her and Hawkeye and that kind of like conflict resolution, it feels like, I don't know, that it would be weird without that.
Right.
I had a little bit of a nitpick of that interaction. We'll get to
I was
it.
going to say, but if you took that scene out of the show and you took Yelena out, that scene then has no, you know what I mean? Like, she literally has no interaction with any of the bros. Tracksuit Mafia, like nothing. So essentially, it makes sense that literally there was almost like 2 scripts like sewn together.
Yeah,
and they just happen to be on the ice for both of them. You know what I mean?
Even that final scene, and I don't want to go too much into it because I know you pace yours a little differently than how I do my shows, Gary. But even with that scene, it was I don't know. Yes, it was nice, but Clint and her's interactions didn't really happen before that. Like it just all was leading to this big confrontation, and then we just kind of forced it to happen. You know?
Yeah, I don't know how else. I think there's no other way to do it, though. Unfortunately, because of how the short series trying to cram these 2 storylines together into one, and for what it's worth, I think they did it just about as good as they could have for 6 episodes and like these 2 parallel storylines. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I loved the whole show. So
yeah, we are definitely going to get into that. This was a real strong series. All right. We did get ahead. We're coming back.
Yes.
So Clint tells
Gary's
Kate,
like, man.
You invited me, Gary. You knew what you were getting.
That's why I kept my mouth shut. I like all the conversation, and it happens every episode. We jump around a little bit. There's a good interaction here now where Kate is telling Clint, go home, go be with your family. I thought this was really important. It's Christmas, go, go, go. And Clint tells Kate they're partners. He isn't leaving until all this is taken care of. And that, I think, was the first time he really acknowledged her and him as partners, and we are truly in this together. Because the role was reversed. He was trying to send her home an episode or 2
That was
ago.
funny. Yeah.
And now he's going to stay here for her. And then we go back to Kingpin. And he meets up with Echo really quick, she tells him she's moving on from her father's murder. She's done with it. She needs a couple days off. But he, being Kingpin, he knows, all right, she's turned on us.
Yeah. That was
now.
That
Hold
was
on. You mentioned Eleanor wasn't nervous. I was shocked that even the actress, man, of Echo, totally not scared of Kingpin, right in his face. Right. I noticed that. I was like, man, she is just. I don't know. She wasn't scared.
Not like Kazi, though. How nervous was Kazi in that interaction?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, he's like the uncle, godfather, guardian to her. So I feel like there's that familiarity. I never could say that word right. And so you don't fear him like the rest of the world does. You know, I mean, even Hawkeye he does not want to tangle with Kingpin. They make that very, very clear.
Oh, yeah. From the beginning, the big guy. You don't want to mess with him, this, that. I mean, this is the same dude who was taking out aliens in the middle of New York City, and he doesn't want to mess with Kingpin.
Right.
So then I thought, all right, this next part of this episode may be one of my favorite parts. Clint tells Kate they need a whole bunch of gear, and it's time for the trick arrows, and she gets all excited, like, wait, you make the trick arrows? And then when they're going through that, you get the sense that he's training her. And throughout the series, you're starting to see, you go back and you think there's a lot of times where he's training her without really making a point of it. But this is the first time you really get that. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. This is how you make the trick arrows. I thought that was really cool. That was one of my favorite parts of the episode.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just me, but like there's something about like a scene where like the hero or whoever it may be is like gearing up, like they're arming up, they're gearing up. It's almost like,
Kevin McAllister.
Right. I was like a big fan.
Home Alone vibes all day on that.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Like I was thinking like A-Team. I was big, like I used to watch like the scene where they build whatever the hell they were building to kind of finish off the episode. Like that always got me when I was a kid. So like when I see that scene in a show or a movie, that just seals the deal for the whole thing for me.
Or like when they do the training montage in like Rocky movies and stuff,
Yep.
When Apollo and Rocky hug at the end of the race on the beach, that always
they're racing on the beach
in the little tiny shirt. But that I just really liked that scene. I don't know, Benny, what do you think? Like, was that seemed like an important part of the episode? It was almost, I don't want to say it was quite a transition, but it's the teaching moment. I don't know.
I really did like that moment. It's actually one of my favorites in the entire series, this one right here, because you're like you said, it was that transition. To me, that was what it felt like, a Hawkeye comic with Clint and Kate. Like before this, all felt like the origin. He really didn't want her around, but he was helping her out. You could get vibes of that the teacher mentor thing that they were going for. But it was at that moment to me that it felt like, no, now we have the two Hawkeyes. Now we've got Clint teaching Kate. And I loved her little ad of the label maker, just to call back to that scene from the car.
Yeah. And you know what's kind of cool?
Yeah.
It's the first time we've seen Clint do this.
Yeah.
He's always just had the
That's
arrows.
true.
First time we
That's
actually
true.
see he's the one making the arrows. I thought that was
Well,
kind
to
of
me,
cool
it's like the culmination of like, you're my partner, and now it's like, boom, now we're working together doing partner stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a continuation of that, that realization, and like even in her face when he said that we're partners, and then seeing them work together, it just like came full circle with it.
I really like that, and she was just absorbing it all. Like she was loving it. This is what she's been waiting for 5 episodes, right?
Yeah.
And she tells Clint tells her, like, Clint has the serious talk with her, like, tonight will be dangerous, and that's, and gives her a long speech, and it happens right here during the whole arrow thing, and then that's when she finally tells him about the moment in New York. And I thought that I was waiting for that moment where she explained, where she gave him the story of, I watched you save everybody, just a normal dude with a bow and arrow saving people.
She gave him his flowers.
It was cool. Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I love that scene. This whole little 4 or 5 minutes, I just thought it was really good. Clint,
it also justifies to the audience why Hawkeye is her favorite. I mean, we kind of already knew that from the first episode, but it's like, okay, you can see why she gravitated towards him and why he inspired her.
Yeah, she says the human aspect, basically.
Yeah.
And then
the
whole, Clint, and she says, Clint showed, basically she said, you showed me what it was like to be, what it is to be a hero. And I thought that was that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was good.
And now we go to the party. And this is basically the whole rest of the episode here. Kazi, we see Kazi trying to take out Eleanor right across the other building. And we've got the bros in the streets ready to snag her. And it's funny because they all transition and pivot because it's all about Eleanor until Clint's there. And then everything, did you notice that? And everything, like Kazi starts taking shots at Clint instead of waiting for Kate's mom.
Well, he was happy. He was like, oh, man. Yeah.
It was a target-rich environment.
I missed them all.
Yeah, he didn't hit shit.
And then
my whole thing was this, like, the people that were with the Hawkeyes, they're cops, aren't they? Those cosplayers or whatever you call them?
Well, they said cops, firefighters, and EMT. So they were one of those 3.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's where I was going next is like there's more teaching moments here because while they're at the party, Clint is, she's asking Clint, all right, what, he asks her, what are our threats? What are our assets?
Right.
And, she lists some stuff and the LARPers were the assets and they were everywhere.
Yep.
I don't want to jump ahead here. I loved their big. They didn't do much, but the scene that they had with them and Clint was just great.
It was great. Yeah. Yep.
No, where he says we're all gonna die.
Yeah. They come out in their outfits, and he's like, "Oh,
I was dying.
We're all gonna die."
What is that gonna do, right?
Yeah, that's what they were like. Should we change? Should we change now? And I'm like, "Oh, did they have like suits?" Like I'm thinking ahead. My mind is racing. Like, what teams has Kate been on that this could end up being her team? Like, is it going to be like West Coast Avengers or something like that? What is this going to be? I'm thinking of all of this, and then they come out in the LARPs, and I'm like, oh, okay.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that adds up. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, it gives them confidence.
Yeah,
what
that's
was really
whatever.
interesting too, and I don't know about interesting, but I thought it was kind of cool because this moment was building. But not only are the LARPers there, but Jack is there with a sword.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I loved his 2-second scene. I'm here. Like what?
On guard. And then the little interaction with the little kid and the wine. I thought that was kind of funny.
That was funny.
That made me laugh.
Oh, yeah.
What did he say? You peed your pants?
Yeah,
something like that.
No joke. It was almost like he came out of character when he was like, you peed your pants in the Poconos or whatever. Nobody forgot. He just kind of came out of it. I thought that was really good. And then Yelena shows up to the party. She has more hair than she's had in any other episode. I thought that was
crazy hair. Yeah, that shit was
massive amount of hair. Kate finally reaches her mom and basically tells her, yo, Kingpin wants you dead. I'm saving your life. Stay here. Of course, she doesn't listen because that's what we do. And then that's when Kazi starts firing. And the rest of this, there is a lot to talk about, but that was basically the first 25 minutes of the episode because it seems like the second half moved a lot quicker than the first half.
Well, I mean, the second half was all just one giant battle sequence, basically.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah,
and I thought it was great. Kate catches up with Yelena. They have an awesome interaction. Their dynamic was maybe the best in the show, in my opinion. I love the way they work together. Any opinions there? Am I wrong? Overreacting? Don't get me wrong. Clint and Kate were great too. But
I'd love the sequel to be Kate and Yelena doing something, and Clint has to show up like episodes 3 through 5. Like I'd love their interaction was so great. I'd love for the next season to start with them two working together.
Yeah, I that's a Disney Plus show. Those two doing something. You just have to have a good story.
I don't know if they anticipated it being that good. So now I feel like whatever they had planned, they probably have to change because you got to get them back on the screen together.
I think you do.
They're some way, shape, or form.
Similar in their quick wit, sarcastic humor, and it just worked well with each other. I really, really liked that.
Was it me or was Kate when she fought Yelena looked like she didn't know what the hell she was doing, and then towards the end when she's fighting Kingpin, she's pulling off all types of like WWE moves, that just weren't working, but they were really technically sound. I'm like, it's like a different person here.
Yeah, but I will say this: it's like fighting completely two different styles of fighting. Yeah. You had a big, giant mass of muscle versus another acrobatic, high agility fighter, technical fighter.
Right.
I'd like to think that for some reason she thought she could take out Yelena, so she wasn't thinking it out. But when she shot the arrow into Kingpin's chest, and he was just like, "What is this?" Yeah. She was like, "Oh, I got to pull out all the stops."
maybe.
Yeah. She went into survival mode after that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So Kate, let me see. So they're going. Okay, so Clint takes out Kazi with the smoke arrow, so he's not shooting anyone anymore. Kate and Yelena go down the building. I thought that was.
He should have used the flubber arrow.
They didn't make one.
I know, that was what I was going to say earlier. I'm like, they didn't make a flubber arrow.
They did not make a flubber arrow.
It was the best CG in the entirety of Disney Plus. I mean,
so I did like Yelena going down the building, taking shots at Hawkeye. That was pretty cool. And
that was good.
I liked Kate following.
Yeah, that was cool.
And that's when we get the swordsman. Kate's down there about to get shot, and here comes Jack, and he's just awesome. I mean, I thought he was great too. I liked him. I liked him this whole season. He was
slicing people up, but he was just a clown. I mean, I don't know if there's a future for him. I guess we could talk about all that at the end because they left so many things open-ended. Yeah,
I do want to go through a few characters, but I unfortunately I tend to agree with you. I don't know if we're going to see him again. But
yeah, I thought it was going to be a bigger deal. Like he was like almost like he might be an Avenger thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. I felt like he was just going to be the red herring, and once he was out, it's just going to be that goofy guy. If he shows up at all, it's going to be because he got some weird fandom out of this, and they're like, "We want more Swordmaster."
Yeah.
Jack was great.
Bring back Jack.
Jack saves Kate. Clint and Kazi end up fighting. They fight. Clint wins, or whatever you want to call it. Now Clint ends up in the Christmas tree. I thought that was pretty clever. Echo, we see Echo. She's packing up. She's got the photo of Kazi, just kind of showing you that they did kind of have a relationship together. Like whether it was brother, sister, boyfriend, girlfriend, they were tight. They were close.
Yeah,
100%.
Which I think it was more like a brother sister. I think they kind of grew up together. I don't think it was any relationship stuff, but we don't know. Kate gets Clint out of the tree. I thought that was pretty good. But then at the same time, I'm like, you just put him in the center of everything by taking him out of that tree the way she did.
Yep. Yeah. Took down the Rockefeller tree, but no big deal.
Yeah. Nobody was paying attention, right?
Nobody will
and
notice.
That's why Spider-Man couldn't swing by because the tree wasn't there.
Exactly.
All right. Okay. So this is really where the crazy fighting starts. Clint takes out the magnet arrow, which we saw before. And that I thought that was cool as hell.
That was really cool.
All the guns getting magnetized to all the poles.
Yep.
I thought that was
using all the
cool.
trick
We started seeing all
arrows,
the trick arrows. We see Clint in the costume.
Yep, that was pretty cool.
I want to comment on the trick arrows. I know they were trick and they were cool, but he definitely murdered every single person he shot with that. Like when he shot the arrow to the guy's shin and his leg froze over, I'm like, that guy's not walking again.
I was like, I was like, yo, like shattered. You know?
Yeah. He's got people bound up with electricity. My favorite though was the shrinking one where he shrunk the truck. And then he's just like, I gotta ask Scott about that. I don't know what's next.
The owl.
Yeah, like those guys are basically dead.
Yeah, those guys are dead.
The owl took them.
Well, here, another Ant-Man reference. Didn't we talk about this?
All over the place.
Almost every damn episode.
Fucking Ant-Man.
But yeah, I liked a lot of those arrows.
I like Ant-Man, you know, and that will be where Kang is finally introduced. So
for the first time,
first appearance.
For the first time ever.
I do think this is going to be Ant-Man's going to be phenomenal, but that's besides the point.
Did we get to the fight scene between Echo and?
Oh
Kazi
yeah, we're
yet,
going to get to that.
Okay.
He references Ant-Man again, Yelena, and this is where Yelena shows up. And now the three fights are all happening at once. You have Yelena versus Clint, you have Kazi versus Echo, and you have Kingpin versus Kate. So Matt, you talk about, I want to hear what you think about the Echo Kazi fight.
So I thought it was really interesting, his choice of words before they kind of got into it. And it seemed like there was some underlying jealousy there, that like she was handed the reins after clearly he helped Kingpin set up, what's his name? Wild Horse, her father, Echo's father. And he kind of said that was supposed to be my life, not yours. Yeah. And to me, it was kind of like, wait a minute, he's upset with this, that she was kind of handed the kingdom, you know, the step below Kingpin, and it didn't seem like maybe she really wanted it, and now she was just going away, and there was definitely some resentment there, and he was definitely more angry in that fight than she was, for sure. So I thought that was really interesting. Yeah, he was a really good character, and did he, she stabbed him. It's not like she stabbed him in the heart or the lung, or where you were guaranteed like he's dead. Like, I feel like it can go either way. Like, we could see him again if they decide, or we may never see him again. But I think he was a really good, minor character. Like, he sticks out in my mind in this series as one of the better, characters that, really didn't have a huge role, but played a really good part. And so I don't know if we see Kazi again. I feel like maybe we finally get to the point where he's the Kazi from the comics, right?
I was going to say, yeah, he was very important, right?
Right. He was insane. He was like, they said the Joker of Marvel. He was completely different than what you saw in this series. So I'd be on board to see him going forward as somebody that now has an axe to grind, because I think he's a good actor, and I think he did a good job. So
poor man Jon Snow. I thought this whole scene was cool because this whole part of the episode was cool because they were hopping around from fight to fight, and I liked that.
Yeah.
So Benny, Yelena and Clint.
I mean, Yelena and Clint. The only issue I have with this is they basically did we have to fight sequence 6 episodes in. Like he said, like they right at the beginning, Clint's telling her what's going on, and she's like, liar. So he explains it again, and she's like, liar. Right. And he explains it again, and she's like, liar. And I'm like, oh my god, can we pad this anymore?
Fight already. Yeah.
Yeah. Either just fight, or like one of you kill each other, or team up. Like, why are we padding this?
It's funny because I thought this was kind of I thought about this, how there were no cops anywhere to be found.
Yeah.
For like a half an hour. But I thought the Yelena Clint fight was whatever, but the emotion to me, I thought it would be a lot more emotional. Like, I thought Clint was going to break down. I guess I'm being super nitpicky now, but like, he never explained it the way I would have if I was in that situation, and basically explained just how heroic her sister really was and how hard he fought her for that moment, and she just wanted it more. Like, he didn't explain it the way I thought it should have been explained.
I mean, isn't that classic comic book though?
Yeah.
Like, even when they finally talk, they still beat around the bush. It reminds me of every discussion Batman has with the Bat family after he's learned to work with them. All right, so there's something really bad going on, and I don't have time to talk to you, but I'm going to give you a 20-minute discussion about why I don't have time to talk to you and explain everything that's going on right here. But I can't explain it. I just don't have time for it. Like, it just felt like that to me, you know?
Would that have made sense, though, Gary, though, for the character that we saw the whole series? Would it have made sense for somebody to get, like, this, you know, Jeremy Renner to get super emotional? Like, the most emotion he showed was, like, when he took the hearing aid out at the plaque and he talked to, you know, Natasha. And so he wasn't opening up to his family. You know, like, you could tell he was down in the dumps from the beginning. So I think it was kind
why
of
I wanted it.
I see what you're saying, but I feel like it was on course.
Natasha's sister. Like, this is the closest thing you have to Natasha right here in front of you. And he's heard stories about her and the whistle and all that. I just thought it'd be a little bit more. And talk about I'm being super nitpicky, and I understand it. But we saw where the MCU and the writers could go with emotion in WandaVision. And I just wanted to see a big breakdown. I wanted to see him break down and really explain to Yelena, but I'm just being super nitpicky.
Yelena did, right?
Yeah.
So it would have been weird for them both to be just crying in the middle of this ice skating rink after this monster fight. Yeah.
Oh, that would have been hilarious though. Just like he's just bawling.
I wanted that meme guy. Down. I wanted him to say, you know, again, this is the closest thing he has to Natasha, her sister.
But see, that's my problem. That's my problem, Gary. She didn't go meet him. She didn't I feel like this would have had a lot more weight if she didn't introduce who she was, but tried to get to know Clint. Like, if they had thrown in this little caveat of her showing up to kind of, well, you know, my sister was killed by him. Let me go find out who this guy is. And she just shows up and gets to know Kate and Clint undercover. And then there would be more between Yelena and Clint. Because you're right. That's Black Widow's sister. That's his last connection to Black Widow. But is it really? Because he didn't even know she existed at all. It wasn't even like he knew there was family out there.
He knew.
No,
he
knew.
He never met her.
Well, okay, then he knew, but he didn't meet her then. But I'm still like, they didn't have anything back and forth, and that to me is that was my one little nitpick about this, about them just throwing her in there, because they didn't take the time to really get a relationship between Clint and her.
Well,
it almost made sense though, hearing what Matt's saying from before, that I guess they snuck her into the show.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it makes a lot more sense that way, that they were like, oh, we got to put her in the show. Crap. Yeah, she's here to talk to Clint.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, so there you go, Jem.
Yo.
That Kingpin.
You say Kingpin for me?
I say
Yeah,
Kingpin
hell
for
yeah.
you.
I think this is where the episode gets the most criticism. I think a lot of people were like, Kate Bishop took out Kingpin. Pfft, BS. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's kind of like what we said earlier. She really couldn't go toe to toe with Yelena, because they're both like nimble and agile, and they fight. But Kingpin's this big, slow moving object that she's got to just throw everything out at him frantically. And it ended up taking. How did she take him down? With like a explosion arrow?
Explosion. Yeah.
Right. So that makes sense. And her mom,
the flick with his cufflink.
That's what it was. Yeah. So awesome callback. You know, they planted that seed earlier. She hit him with the flick, and then you can't forget the assist from Eleanor with the car. That was kind of crazy as well. So it's not like that Kate Bishop beat Kingpin's ass in a fist fight, but she did use her skills to not get killed, because he was throwing her around like a rag doll, man. And it was pretty brutal. It was almost unbelievable that she was able to take that kind of punishment. But, you know, she survived and got out of it. She didn't kill him or anything, but, you know, she used a little trick thing, and it knocked him out of commission for enough for her to get away. So yeah, I don't want to fall down that rabbit hole of like, oh my God, so Kate Bishop now can whoop up Kingpin. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that wasn't the case at all. She couldn't.
I feel like if anything, it seemed like he was holding back, like, get out of here, like almost like a gnat. Like, come on, I don't want to hurt you. He's like, this isn't, you know, leave, drop it. Like, he wasn't going after her. He was just trying to get to the mother, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you saw it. It just came out earlier today. So our buddy Adam Barnhart from comicbook.com, he did an interview with Vincent D'Onofrio. Mm-hmm. And it gave some insight, which clarifies a lot of things. So Jay was very critical. Jay's not on tonight, but he was very critical about the last scene that Kate Bishop was able to whoop up on Kingpin. And same.
But she
And I said to him,
wasn't.
I'm like, he got hit by a car. I don't forget. I was on Gary's channel. I don't want to curse. He got hit by a car, and then an explosion went off, and he walked away.
And wait, not only did the explosion go, it knocked him into the pillar. Like it blew him up. He hit the pillar, and then he went out. So she didn't really physically beat him, right?
Right. So the interview
survived.
Right. The interview was short, but it gave two really important pieces of information that I think kind of put a topping on this whole thing. Is that number one, he said that Adam asked Vincent, he said, was it a different setup process for the character, or did they want you to just be the same person you were with the Netflix character? And they said they wanted me to be the same character as Netflix. So they want that character to remain the same. Except he said, I knew they wanted him to be much stronger and much more indestructible than he was in Netflix. So I think they showed that right off the bat. He's ripping doors off of cars. He's getting shot with an arrow.
Shredder.
Right. Yeah. He gets hit with a car. He gets hit with a car and he gets blown up.
He pulls the arrows out. Like she shoots him with an arrow. And he's like, whatever. Like I
snapped it. He was like,
because of Netflix, when he did this, pulled it off his chest, I was expecting there to be like a bulletproof vest. But they didn't. They didn't show any of that. It was just like, nope, that's Kingpin. That is MCU Kingpin.
That's what I thought. I was saying this to Matt a day or two ago. He had that like Kevlar suit in the Netflix one, didn't he? Wasn't he wearing like everything?
Something like that.
Whatever that Daredevil costume material was.
Yep.
But I was expecting something under the shirt, and we got nothing.
Yeah. So that was.
I think they wanted that. Also, did you notice the cinematography,
exactly.
the angling? All the angling showed him as this big, intimidating guy.
Like, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I thought that was really good info. That like kind of I kind of figured that already, but to hear it from him, that was basically taken down from Feige to him saying like, this is what we want you to be. I think that kind of like, I was like, okay, we're cool here. Like they did this on purpose. They had to introduce him, but they wanted to show how strong he was and how much of a beating he could take and still keep going. And now that's the Kingpin we're gonna get going forward. I think that. For me, was
powerhouse.
Good. Yeah.
I liked it because, in my opinion, she didn't beat him. There was no physical. It was physically dominant from the Kingpin. She had to use an outside source to take him out. Hit by a car, an explosion, smashing into a pillar to knock him out. He's not dead. Knock him out. Like he's a monster. So, okay, happy ending. Here we go. Jack and the LARPers talk. I thought that interaction was kind of funny.
LARPers spinoff show coming, confirmed.
Jack and the LARPers?
LARPers.
Yeah, Jack and the that's the name of the show, Jack and the LARPers. It's like a sitcom.
Sounds like a band.
Right? Benny and the Jacks.
So quick,
hey, I know the Jets. The Jets are nice.
There you go.
So Kate's mom gets arrested. And then we see the Echo Kingpin interaction, 15-second, 20-second. What do you guys think around the horn, Matt?
Go to me last because I want to see what these guys say first.
Go ahead, Ben.
What, the general overall view of this?
Yeah, what did you think of that last scene? Is he alive? How are they going to go? Direction? What do you think?
Wait, which last scene? Kingpin, we already know is alive.
Kingpin and Echo.
Oh, well, he's definitely alive. They're not going to kill him off. Like, that's why I was confused. I thought you just said he got up, he walked away. And I'm like, yeah, no, we're like, because I was talking to some other guys earlier. They were like, yeah, I can't believe they killed Kingpin. I'm like, they didn't kill Kingpin. They're not going to reintroduce Kingpin on the 6th episode of Hawkeye and then be like, and he's gone. I hope you didn't want him in Daredevil.
Yeah, the thing is, whenever you kill somebody off screen, especially a big villain, they're not really dead. Now, at first, when it happened, I was like, well, this ain't looking good for Amazing Spider-Man 50. But then I'm like, he's not really dead. And plus in the comics, this happens in the comics that she shoots him and it blinds him temporarily or something like that, right? So it's unless he doesn't want to play Kingpin anymore for whatever reason, but as long as the actor still wants the role.
He's come out and said he wants to come back, and he'll do it as long as they're hiring him. So
he's phenomenal.
Yeah,
in that role. Go ahead, Matt.
Can I share my screen real quick?
Go ahead.
Uh-oh.
So I'll solidify it for Jem. Let me see. I think I got it here.
Was it from the comic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you see it?
Right. Yeah, we can see it.
There you go. Let me blow it up a little bit. So this is Daredevil 15, volume 2. So essentially, Echo, the gun to the face, shoots him, and then towards the end of the episode, towards the end of the comic. Now remember, in the show there was 2 shots, so he's still alive. He's got, like Jem said, he got shot in both eyes. 2 shots. I think that was important in the series too, because you did hear 2 distinct gunshots. So I think this is the storyline essentially they're going to use. And I feel like the Echo series, the opening sequence could be us actually seeing what happened in that scene when the camera goes away.
Now,
so,
are you positive there were 2 gunshots?
Yes, 100%. Yep, I double checked with Jay, and he said the same thing. He's like, "You heard the 2 gunshots, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, there was 2 gunshots."
Okay.
He goes, "He got shot in the eyes, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I was thinking." So
well, this series has been so comic accurate.
yes,
Right.
yes,
it just makes sense.
so he and during that interview with Barnhart, he actually, without saying it, he says he's doing more. So he's not dead. Like I think that's not even a question at this point. Like this,
if all my comic speculators, if ASM 50 takes a dip, it's time to buy it right now.
Oh,
yeah,
I might watch it
100%.
actually. I might keep an eye on that.
100%. Because you're right. It may take a dip because some people are gonna assume like, hey, you know what?
Oh,
This guy could be gone.
And I'll tell you what, people have short-term memories. And that book, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes down and then it levels off, maybe down 15, 20%, but it will come back with a vengeance. Plus, it's a major Spider-Man key, great cover.
Either way, you're okay, yeah.
Anniversary issue, phenomenal cover, first appearance of Kingpin. It has so much going for it. All right, so Clint takes Kate home and Lucky home for Christmas. The dog finally gets a name. We were all very excited about
finally
that.
say the name. Jesus.
I liked Pizza Dog. I thought that was going to be his official name.
Say the name.
Clint's wife gets her watch back, so they close that story. Agent 19. Shield. That is the Mockingbird agent.
So what do you guys think? Do you think that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is no longer canon? Or do you think Mockingbird and Agent 19 are 2 separate people? Or do you think that she is before Mockingbird?
I think that was the nail. I think that was the nail in the coffin for Agents of
S.H.I.E.L.D.
I thought
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was already confirmed to not be canon.
As far as I knew, there was no confirmation. It was just fans deciding, because of the timeline thing, it could work as not being canon. But I mean, Daredevil wasn't canon until Kingpin, and for all we know, still might not actually be. They're going to resell the whole origin. They're going to do the whole thing over.
Right.
Yeah,
it might not be.
I thought it wasn't canon because Coulson isn't really alive in the MCU.
Right.
That's what I thought. Something about that. But
yeah, I think the Beast is Michael B. Spence is saying, AOS is no longer. They've said AOS is no longer canon. So
I said it though, because I've heard the fan base talk about that for a while, but like last month I was looking, there was no actual confirmation, just more fan speculation on that.
Yeah. I can't remember them saying it specifically, but I feel like this to me is like a big nail in that coffin because you had a Mockingbird in that, and that now you're seeing Agent 19. Not that we'll ever see Clint's wife suit up or anything like that, but I think that it's just putting that to bed.
Does it matter?
Yeah, Darkhold, and you have Mockingbird. That's two things that.
Yep.
Okay, so I found where it says it. It only came out recently. October 21st in that book, the one that says behind the scenes of the Marvel Studios thing, the one that recently came out.
Yeah.
They stated, the writer of that book stated that Agent Carter is canon, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not.
That probably makes sense.
Because they probably want to use a different Ghost Rider as well.
But that book is not written by one of the writers, so it's just this guy saying it, and that because even this article's like, so is it canon or not? Well, all up to you.
Depends if this guy has any weight or not.
Yeah, exactly. It depends on how much weight this writer actually. It's the story of Marvel Studios, the making of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's the title of the book.
So the series ends with the Ronin costume being burned. So no more Ronin. That's officially gone. And Kate and Hawkeye are discussing names. And I mean, Kate will don the name Hawkeye, right? I mean, that's kind of
his idea. That's what he. I got an idea or whatever. That
yeah.
And then maybe
the closeout,
maybe just maybe the greatest end credit scene in all of MCU history.
Psych.
I did love that, but I'm a little irked that they've kept no consistency to the mid and end credit scenes because it pops up at a random middle episode. It doesn't show up at all in Hawkeye. Oh, yeah. It's like sometimes in another show. Like, you have some rhyme or reason to this.
It would have been nice to get something to go with that.
I was like, Benny has to watch. Benny purposely watched this and then just got a musical in the middle. He's got to be so mad. He's got to be so pissed. Like, I waited for this. You guys told me to wait for the end credit scene, and this is what we get.
No, I started watching them on the browser so I can just skip to whatever the end credits is. And I saw the musical, and then I skipped past the musical looking for the real one, and it wasn't there.
That was probably the most disappointing. I would have rather just have no scene, no end credit. You know, I guess it was an homage to, like, you know, first responders and stuff like that, I'm assuming, which is great. But, you know, hey, I'm a fan. I want to see something there. You know what I mean? Like, give me something. I needed like one more Easter egg in there. I really thought we were going to get it too.
It would have been nice to get something with Echo to see the direction of that series. Anything. I would have taken anything.
But at the end of the day, we didn't get a post-credit scene, basically.
We got no post-credit scene. In my opinion, that could have been a Yelena and Contessa conversation.
Yeah, the Contessa, that should have been her showing up to Yelena. Hey, you didn't finish the job or something like that, and
something.
Right.
And then they could have teased Thunderbolt, something, you know, something to continue, or even a scroll moment as Yelena.
Because what the hell is the point of Contessa? They've teased her now in two different things, and we still don't really know like what the point of it is. You know,
she's
I think next year is going to be the big one. I think next year is going to be finally things are opening up and they're going to finally use Contessa. They've set up a lot of things this year, and I have a feeling a lot of it was set up without knowing what was going to happen with COVID, because all these shows get delayed a year. So they're just planning threads that they can get back to if everything goes back to normal.
And they're really good at that anyway.
Yeah.
Without COVID, they're even good at that kind of stuff. So they know what they're doing. And this is something again, if you guys, and I didn't say this yet live, but next week, and we are going to we're going to finish all this stuff. Actually, I'll save that for later. So final series thoughts, grade wise, Matt, what are you giving this? Where would you place this with the Disney Plus series? This is the 4th Disney Plus series now.
Yeah. So I think
Fifth.
what
if? Right.
Yeah. What if? Yeah.
Live action then.
I feel like all the final episodes, with the exception of Loki, have not been as good as the second to last episode. I think this was no exception. I did like this, but I liked 5 like a hair more, even with the Kingpin, inclusion. So to me, this one was an 8.5. I think I gave last week a 9. Overall, probably the whole series is probably 8.5 for me too. Definitely the best. I'll give it a 9. I just give the whole series a 9. That's fine. It was the best series for me. Yeah, it was the best series for me, definitely. I think it was. This is like I've said this 3 or 4 times. Like, this is what I thought Disney Plus would be when we first got it, and this is our first glimpse of a series that is kind of an introduction to a new character. And I think going forward, that's what we're going to see more often than not. The first 3 series were pretty much characters that we knew already, or the first. What was it? Yeah, the first 3,
and then What If was,
Right. What If I kind of stand alone, but yeah, I mean, if they keep up this same formula, this same blueprint for Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, Moon Knight, and beyond, like, they could have some big hits on their hands. So let's see what happens. I'm curious to see where they go with it. Like I said earlier, they left a lot open-ended. I know Jem thought that Eleanor, Kate's mom would either die or go to prison, so he got that right. But could we see her come back? If there is a season 2, I feel like, is the dad really dead? Like, these are things that I feel like they left unanswered purposely, because now they have this at their disposal. Maybe nothing comes of it, or maybe something does. So, and I actually like that. You know what I mean? I didn't need a bow tied on every single thing to still enjoy it. You know what I mean?
I got it. Chat. Yeah. For the series, you guys, 1 through 10, what do you guys think? All right, Benny, for the series, not the episode, the series.
I'm going 9.1, so I could still be above you there.
Was this the Price is Right?
Yes, I'm trying to get. I'm not an asshole. To just as close as I can get. No, this is actually my favorite one. WandaVision, I felt took a long time to set up to give us a great mystery. Falcon Winter Soldier, I felt they were still finding their footing. I felt like that one was more like just Captain America 3. Loki, we all know my complaints about Loki. What If, I felt was great, but there was some misses on that. For this series, every episode for me hit. I just loved every moment of it. I loved the back and forth. I loved how it felt separated, but it still gave us big fans the callbacks we needed. Like you didn't have to have an encyclopedia knowledge of the Marvel universe to watch this show. It was just a great buddy cop kind of father-daughter dynamic, teacher-mentor dynamic. It was perfect. I was watching this one with my mother-in-law because remember I couldn't come to some of these because my mother-in-law was in town. And she doesn't watch the MCU. She has no idea. And she was loving the show. So just that alone to me makes this the best of the Disney Plus shows because it hinted at a bunch. It applied a bunch. It did a bunch of callbacks, but it still felt separate. And I loved it.
Wow.
Jam.
No, all great reasons, and I see the chat. A lot of people saying it's their favorite too. It's not my favorite because I like more of the magical powers aspect. As far as street level, this is what Falcon Winter Soldier was supposed to be, a buddy cop type of comedy action flick. This one nailed it, and it had that aspect of teacher-student. So I would put this, if we're talking the 4 live actions, it's my third favorite. I like WandaVision, and then Loki is my favorite one. I just like those themes, but it's got a lot going for it. It had a new lead that was not introduced anywhere else, and she held it down, man. And she was unique and had her own personality. Hawkeye, that's what these shows are doing, digging deep into the BC listers that we would never get in an Avengers movie. Shit, they shitted on him in the first Avengers movie, and and they kind of redeemed him in Age of Ultron. So we got to see more of what makes him tick. And his family, and now we got his wife. We know that she's a SHIELD agent, Mockingbird, blah, blah, blah. I liked it. As far as a grade, I don't remember what I gave the other shows grades, man. I would be like 8.5 on this because I'm pretty sure I gave Loki a very high 9, if not 10, and then WandaVision was probably high 9 as well. So that's what I'm going to put. It's like my third favorite out of the live action. But I've liked all of them. I mean, I've enjoyed Disney Plus, and I look forward to them every Wednesday. So keep them coming.
One bite. Everyone knows the rules.
One bite, baby.
Wait, I didn't want to give it a rookie score.
Yeah, you give it a rookie score. Well, Gary makes us give rookie scores now. But Gary, before you say your stuff, was this the first time that we haven't had a series where we got one episode where we're like, that was not good?
Yeah.
I feel like it is, right? WandaVision, we had a couple, the first
People
two.
really didn't like the beginning episodes in WandaVision, where I didn't mind the early episodes in WandaVision just because it was new. We had Disney Plus. Like, I think that kind of added to me. Like, look, we have Disney Plus. The MCU is on TV. This is great. So those first few episodes, I was like, ho hum. It was fine. Didn't bother me as much. But yeah, I would say this is the first complete Disney Plus show. There were no misses.
Every single episode, I feel like. I mean, Loki, we know that was that one episode, which was Benny's favorite out of all, when they were on the train, where it basically had
They walked a whole episode and revealed nothing.
Yeah,
nothing. Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, literally.
That's the point of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, I it's so hard to say this, but I think this does beat out WandaVision for me, and I loved WandaVision. You know what this show did for me too, is it just proved how terrible, and I don't even know if terrible is a good word, but how disappointing Falcon and Winter Soldier was.
Yeah.
This was outstanding. I definitely would put this number 1, and it's neck and neck with WandaVision. I'd probably give this like a 9, a WandaVision like an 8.9. Like, they're right there for me. I really, really loved WandaVision, but we got 6 awesome episodes. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. Like, it was the first time, and I think we all said this, it was the first Disney Plus show where we got a brand new character out of the gate. It was about this character, and it was awesome. And now we have She-Hulk, we have Moon Knight, we have the Marvels, or Miss Marvel. We have this same setup now all of next year. I don't think there's a returning anything next year. Is there on Disney Plus?
As of right now, no.
So I think that's
they haven't announced it if there is. I mean, they've been flying by the seat of their pants lately, but
yep.
Look, my man Augie is right. He said the Hawkeye definitely had the worst post-credit scene.
Yeah, that goes without saying. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be the best Disney Plus series. And talk about giving the fans what they want. It was super accurate, very close to the comic book.
Gave us Kingpin.
We got Kingpin, and we got a beast of a Kingpin. I really, really enjoyed it. Like, really. To me, this is number 1, Wanda number 2, Loki 3, What If 4, and Falcon 5.
Did we get a season 2?
Do we? Are you asking?
Yeah,
they could.
I think we should. We definitely should.
Oh, we should. I definitely agree.
Well, you know what? But the thing is, are they going to just tell this story throughout Echo and then maybe a Daredevil, and you know what I'm saying?
I think Kate has her own stories to tell still. What if Kate is the one who puts the Young Avengers together?
I feel like she still has
right?
time. Yeah, she still has time. I think there's going to be season 2. If you're a comic book reader, read her first solo series, that Hawkeye, and think Jessica Jones. That's all I'm going to say. We'll get a little into that a little bit when it gets a little closer, but I'm thinking Jessica Jones, season 2, Hawkeye, and that's Kate Bishop, Hawkeye. I mean, and read that series if you hadn't. It's okay, and there's some specific points where I think that's where they're going to take the second episode, second season.
Hold on. So Joseph just said the fan in the audience really liked that play. I thought they were going to pan to somebody in the audience, like Old Man Steve Rogers or something like that, or Contessa, or I thought they were going to tease somebody was watching that play, but they didn't.
Yeah. Sal said it on one of my review of the thing. It makes sense that it's actually there, because in order to even put it in that little clip, they had to do a full musical number to make it feel like so they must have done that. So they just threw it in there.
This.
Yeah, we rehearsed this so you could enjoy the song.
It said Merry Christmas before we watched it.
Yeah.
So
that's why I feel it was there. It was just like, we filmed this whole thing. Here's the uncut version.
Right.
It's like, look how good they are.
Yeah.
When that first came out, I was so pissed. I'm like, there better be something else. Like, that's what I'm saying in my head. There better be something else.
Because I just skipped through it. I'm like, I
know we watched it.
I have to watch it because there's got to be. I was like, Jim, I'm like, there's got to be something in here. There's got to be something in here. Like an idiot, like that I am. I'm like, there's got to be something in here. I watched that whole fucking thing.
Did you go back in slow mo through the audience to see if you could see
I was too pissed. I was just like, I'm done. I'm done.
So it sounds like, other than Jem, who you did enjoy it, but you thought 2 of the other series were better. 3 of us all agree it's probably the best Disney Plus show. I'll tell you, it's definitely set the bar, man. With all the new stuff coming out next year, the bar has been set high, and that's pretty much it for this series. Did you guys want to add anything before we get out of here?
I don't really have that.
All right, so I did want to.
Can't wait for the next thing we see. I'm assuming it's going to be. I don't know. Are we getting a Disney Plus show before Doctor Strange 2?
I think Doctor Strange is the next MCU anything, and that's May.
I know we get.
When does She-Hulk come out? She-Hulk is not soon.
That's what I'm looking more.
Moon Knight. Moon Knight would be first.
Shows.
I don't think they set any dates yet. So.
I don't either.
Well, Moon Knight's got to be further along in production based on what we've seen, right?
I think Miss Marvel's done for sure.
That one I think is in the end. There it is. What's next?
Miss Marvel was supposed to be now.
It was. So
like,
I feel like that's the first one that we're going to get. But I feel like with them moving Doctor Strange,
Miss Marvel wrapped in May.
Okay.
So that's been done for a while.
That's got to be the one then.
Yeah, but there's no confirmed dates on anything right now.
I feel like with them moving Doctor Strange 2, they got to throw a Disney Plus series because this will be like the longest streak without anything.
5 months now.
You know,
we got Boba Fett, man. That's all I need.
Yeah, that's true. We do got that.
So I did want to ask you, talk to you guys about this. We talked a little bit before we went live because we are getting out of here, but I wanted to chat. Guys, I'm going to be going live next week, and I'd love for you guys to come if you could, of course. I'm going to do a full MCU breakdown of the 2021 year. Chronological order from WandaVision all the way to Spider-Man, or technically Hawkeye. What would you say is last? I guess Hawkeye, since it ended after the Spider-Man release. Everything in between, where we rank, what we think is going to happen, the future, what we hope for, disappointments, all this stuff. So I'm going to do that next week, kind of like a year in review for the MCU. You guys are all invited if you want. No obligations. But
spoilers, right?
Full of spoilers, including Spider-Man.
Gotta be,
Maybe
what do you
some.
guys
Maybe
have,
we'll
Matt? Do
drop.
you have anything next
Maybe
week?
we'll drop
live?
some Maybe we'll drop some rumors on that show because I got a couple things that we might be able to reveal. We'll see.
We'll probably do. I'm planning on Thursday of next week, same time, 9:00 Thursday night next week.
Okay.
So
yeah, on the channel right now, we're just still doing one live show a week right now. No recorded videos. Another 2 weeks probably of that. We're just getting some stuff in order for the new year. That's it. We're just doing our live shows, having a good time, hanging out. I think Jay is coming back on next week. He's been off for a little bit, so if you guys missed the the R-rated version, that starts up again next week with the return of the Butcher 105. So yeah, that's it, man. It's been a fun year. We're getting close to the end. I love doing these reviews. This is, I guess, our last Disney Plus review of the year. So I had a blast, Gar. I enjoyed. Thanks for having me on, Jem, Benny. It was a blast doing with you guys. Appreciate meeting you guys and just kind of fall. It's been a good time all around. So
yeah, this all started.
It was nice meeting you guys.
Cheers.
Wait, was that actually the beginning?
Yeah, we started doing these on my channel for Wanda, and then I did Falcon Winter Soldier. Then we went over to Gems for Loki, and that's when you hopped in.
Okay. I
And
just
then we
assumed
did-
you guys been doing it for a while.
Wow. And then we did What If with you.
Yeah.
Which was good. Beginning, middle,
Oh,
and end.
thanks.
Well, it was tough to do a 30-minute animated one-shot story.
Yeah, it was difficult.
Yeah. And there's no speculation because they were
Well,
self-contained for the most part.
Well, I will say I know somebody who talked about a Dark Doctor Strange. No fingers pointing, but
Yeah.
say
Some
we
guy-
may get
my
him.
thumbs.
If anybody, we're gonna get.
I'm
him
gonna
in
laugh
this year.
so hard if they like clearly say not him, like a different one.
I'm not eating a shoe. I'm not gonna say that.
He's
No,
buying
but,
Crocs.
I was thinking that when I saw it too. I was like, damn, they did do the Dark Doctor Strange, like from What If.
Sick, Benny. How all right? This is it. How's everything? You getting ready? What do you got on the channel?
I don't know what's happening on the channel. I'm gonna play Final Fantasy 14. I'm gonna play some Destiny this week. I'm gonna.
He's off.
I'm going on vacation, man. Somebody's releasing videos. Stuff will come out. It's probably gonna be Spider-Man themed.
Jim, sounds like you got statues coming.
Yeah, so I released both statue reviews for the members. Tomorrow, the new Wolverine statue review is going to come out, and then the next day, the Batman Who Laughs and Prime One Casca from Berserk should show up on Friday. I'm super hyped for that. So a lot of statues last minute came through. I'm currently reading the Death and Return of Superman Omnibus, so I'm gonna bust a review of that on the channel as well. And otherwise, Whatnot Wednesdays, man. We had a little snafu yesterday. Whatnot crashed,
Didn't
but every
affect
Wednesday,
you, though, did it?
I don't know. I mean, I did my whole stream. It felt like a little light. Like I don't know if everyone was able to show up or didn't get notifications or whatever, but it was all right. But yeah, every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, Whatnot Wednesday, and Steph just yelled downstairs, everything is packed from Wednesday's auction, and I'm actually going to go down and print all the labels up tonight, right now after this show. So
Beautiful.
yes, sir.
Yeah, follow Jem over there on Whatnot. You can follow me at VERYGARY_comics. He's Jem and Collectibles.
Gary killed it on Whatnot the other day with those damn
the
mystery boxes. That was crazy, man.
Yeah, I did not anticipate that.
You
That was
got
wild.
lucky as hell too. You got lucky that the big bangers didn't come up in the first 3 lots, and then it was all just
Yeah, when we got down to 15 boxes left, it was like home run, home run, home run. Every box was like a big hit. Tomorrow I've got my cover price video coming out. We went back 2 years, which is crazy. The list tomorrow is wild on what these
I don't
books
even want to
were
know
valued at.
what these. I don't want to know. I'm not watching
Dude, from 2 years ago, we're all of us are just gonna kick ourselves. Like what?
that.
What were we doing? Yeah.
I don't want to tell you the number one book, but like actually a few books on this list doubled, tripled, quadrupled in value from 2 years
I'm
ago.
sure.
Crazy. That's tomorrow's video. So that's it, guys. I want to say thank you guys for doing this. We did a whole year of this, even across channels. Thank you. I had a blast. I hope you guys had fun. I hope everybody in the chat had fun. I'm definitely looking forward to doing this more in the future. And of course, next week, a big year in review for the MCU. You guys are all invited if you're able to make it. And everybody in the chat, I hope you guys can come too. And that's it for us. Give all these guys a follow. You probably already am. So probably already are. Have a great night. Everybody, hey, have a great Christmas.
Why don't you play one of those Christmas videos before we leave?
Merry Chrysler.
Christmas video?
Yeah, give me a little Christmas video.
Christmas videos?
Let me see what I got here.
You got a
how
few.
about this one?
Clean, cool chill of the holiday air. And an asshole in his bathrobe emptying a chemical toilet into my sewer.
Shitter was full!
Ah, yeah. You checked our shitters, honey?
What was that?
Guys, thank you so much. Everyone had a great Christmas, and hopefully we get together again next week right before New Year's. Have an awesome holiday.